Yeah, just call her back and call Ted if you can't get.
We're spread out so much.
Let me give you
We
Ted.
haven't had to have numbers around the corner.
I don't know if any of the attorneys are coming in.
Yep.
Imagine they would.
Well, so the original.
Usually we haven't had board ones all over.
Yeah. Which that was never gonna happen.
Yeah.
The, but
Okay, it's 4:10.
a funny part, Tom,
Ken.
when we were doing it, there's no money.
Yeah, that's where you just called.
This- Same thing, like, turf field. Back to what, it's like just hand down this. He says that's nothing,
Yeah.
it's natural, I said, oh, okay.
All right. All right.
Siobhan.
Siobhan, how we doing?
Good, Mayor, how are you?
Gonna be able to handle this, you and I?
I'm hoping, fingers crossed. I got the best of the best on mine.
All right.
Today.
Siobhan, how are you?
Excellent.
You made it.
A live
It makes sense
webcast camera.
on the trip.
They're doing, yeah, so they're doing, so we're up on the projects with the Mount Wilson Park in Buffalo. There is going over all 4 lanes of the 190 bridge that was made in Italy, because it's both structural and architectural. So it just came in just south of Albany, Queens, but it's gonna come up. They first thought it would come in St. Lawrence, but it's gonna come up to Erie now in 4 barges.
Really?
Put back together on the shore at the park, creeped across the park, and then set in one piece over the 190, the 4 lanes of the 190.
And this is supposed to save them a bunch of money probably, huh? That's the theory.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cheaper to get made in Italy. No, so apparently there was nothing in North America that they could do both the structural, architectural, and everything they had looked, but yeah,
It does minimize the interruption. I guess that's true, doesn't it?
yeah, so one piece, and I think plan, you may know better, like 24 hours to set it on the islands. That they'll close the road for 24.
They're probably closing the road for 24. I don't know what the actual set time is. you know, or the anchoring and all that. All happy.
Even just getting it.
have to send you those highlights and
Traffic.
Sorry.
I meant to give you those two highlights. Ship. Oh, I'm sure you saw them.
Yeah, I did see them.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I saw them. Listen,
Well,
Chloe. You don't.
you see the note from the guy from the controller's office.
but there's some movement. At least he's looking at it.
Yeah, yeah, it's better than I thought. I mean, it was. Give Kim credit for having the nerve to give him that date.
I actually told Kim, you should tell him the date is passed.
Yeah,
Kim says, Pepin, I'm not gonna say.
yeah, right, yeah, that's true. No,
Kim is
I was
up-
very polite anyway.
Very
I'd
polite,
I'd give him
exactly.
credit for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're not used to that, right?
We're not used to that. Seems like it's been around for a while. I didn't realize it was there that long. And it seems he was also part of the phase two review. But the document went to his desk 6 months after.
Oh,
It never got to him.
okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Brian Sandage.
Morning, Kimberly.
Hello.
Yeah.
Do you have a time or date when you will have your finalized DP1 available for us?
Yes, I will get it to you this week, because I thought actually I had sent it to you, but I will get you back.
All right, thanks.
gentlemen, welcome.
Oh, yeah. Good. Rich.
Hi, how are you? Pretty good.
I'm not used to seeing Kim on that screen. Usually. It was like,
It's a little intimidating, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. Hope it's not because of, the newest stream.
No, Kim is in New Orleans.
Oh.
And so if you hear, music and raucous drinking in the background, know where she is.
Yeah.
Long Tall Roulette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just wanted to see what it was like to be on stage and screen.
There you go.
Wondering why we didn't do a remote meeting down there.
Yeah.
She didn't invite us for one.
You don't go to New Orleans in July.
Oh, yeah.
Kim does, but
I
the rest
do.
of it- Kim like, yeah.
And Kimberly, this isn't Jazz Fest weekend.
Absolutely. Essence Music Festival, I just finished it.
Yes, I thought there was a certain coincidence.
I knew that.
No,
Over there.
John, do we have any board members on the video? I don't think so, because we got them all now, yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's 4 o'clock. time to commence our meeting. We'll have two meetings today. First, a organizational meeting and then a regular monthly meeting. The agenda is light, so we hopefully will be out of here in reasonable time. So I'll call the first meeting to order, which is the organizational meeting. We circulated to you the information supporting the items that are on the agenda. First of which is the election of officers. You notice one change that's there. Jacob is replacing Sean as the vice chair. Sean, as you know, is retiring. And this will be his last meeting as vice chair. He's going to stay with the district for a little while here and work remotely. So he's going to stay on our board and see how that works out over some reasonable period of time. So we needed to have a new vice chair. Figure the vice chair ought to be here, present physically, because that's one of their jobs, is to fill in when I get hit by a bus crossing the street out here. So now that's the reason for the change that you see that's there. So with that, to start the process of the discussion, if there is any, we'll entertain a motion for the election of officers as set forth. Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? Any further nominations of any kind?
Thanks to Sean.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, well, yeah, Sean really bailed in here because we forgot it's not that long ago when we had lost the connection, and he had to sort of pick up the pieces on both sides and did so admirably. And it's really helped us. We would never have gotten this plan filed without his effort and the time we did. Yes, Jacob.
Just for the record, Sean Barr, and also too, just the fact that I appreciate just all the conversations and kind of bringing me on board as well. I'm just getting on a year in my current position. Sean has been nothing but vital to some of the various aspects of position, certainly this one as well. Certainly continue leaning on Sean for advisement, but I just wanted to, just for the record, just to kind of put that out there. Share all the work, and I've seen all the behind the scenes stuff that Sean has done, so certainly appreciate that.
Great. Great. Any other discussion or comments? Seeing or hearing none, then all those in favor of the slate of officers as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing or seeing none, we're set. The other items here that show assignments are appointments. The first of which, of course, is Kim Mitchell, who's our clerk and records access officer, which we have to have. The other are the committee assignments. I make those appointments. I left them as they were. But, if anybody feels like they'd like to belong to another committee or participate in some other way, just let me know and we'll try to accommodate you. The fact of the matter is, up until now, there's been not so much activity there, but it'll pick up now. It'll pick up now and jobs will be more demanding and also more interesting, quite frankly. So if you have a thought about something you'd like, just let me know and we'll work on it. Two action items we have to vote on. One is the meeting dates. We've circulated those before. People seem to be able to accommodate them. They were in the packet that was sent to you, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting dates.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions?
Just one comment, Mr. Chair. I'm sure the board members can see it. A couple of dates are Tuesdays. It's over here, October 15th is a Tuesday and November 12th is a Tuesday. Just wanted to highlight those.
Yeah, we're moving around, holidays to do that. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Operating budget. You want to say something about that, Kim?
Everybody has a broken copy. I'll just go over some of the proposed payments to Anshin, I'm showing in King, Director of Electric for our audit, Master for Credits, from Rawlings, 7 engineers, state software. Agencies by months, what the aggregate is of all the services. I guess I'd like to say something about the 7 engineers expenditures. But you can see that those expenditures are fluctuating. And the reason for that is because we are adding to the 7 line a lot of our operating expenditures as they relate to what and which are salary, things of that nature. Kind of added to that. So, like, some months are low, some months are a little bit higher. And that's what we get. Normal expenditures, seeing these, throughout the months. And this is our
We can expect that this budget will be amended shortly. The sooner the better. What we decided to do here is just simply put down those things we're doing now and will continue to do, but once we get approval for the plan, then there'll be significant changes as we go through it, and we'll get the operating budget, we'll amend the operating budget to reflect that. But rather than try to guess at it right now, particularly in terms of timing, we gave it to you as you see, but hopefully in the month, certainly by the end of the summer, you should see a substantial amendment to the budget. Okay, any other questions or comments? Seeing or hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve it. It's been moved and seconded. Any further questions or comments? Seeing or hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good. 2 policies that it's important for us to execute as part of our responsibilities as board members. That's acknowledging the confidentiality agreement and the ethics policy. The packet contains that material. I'm sure Siobhan will help you sign one here if you want to do it before you leave, just to make it easier, but we do need to get that, and we'll pursue you if you don't volunteer. It's important. It's a requirement, and we need to comply with it, and we will. The other thing is the sexual harassment training. If you are actively engaged in an employment situation in which you've already had that, as most of you probably will have had who are working, for instance, for the government, then you could acknowledge that as your compliance. For those of us who may not be in that situation, we're going to arrange for you to participate in the training that Bon Shenik has, and you can do it online. So Kim will, once you let Kim know whether you're going to comply by which way, she'll hook you up. The nice thing about the Bon Shenik arrangement is you can do it online, you can do it at your leisure, and you can do it when you want to do it, which makes it nice. But it needs to be done. It's like these other policies here. We need to get it done. Okay. Any other items to come before us in terms of the organizational meeting? Seeing or hearing none, then that meeting will stand adjourned and we'll move into the regular monthly meeting. First item for approval are the minutes of that previous meeting of June 10th. They were in the packet that was circulated. Are there comments or questions? Seeing or hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion to approve them as submitted. It's been so moved. We need a second. Have a second. Thank you. Again, further questions or comments? Seeing or hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved.
Please excuse me. I apologize. I had a meeting.
All set. The next item is the pay requisition for the month. Kim Jones.
Evelyn, showing the team, as well as
Need a motion to approve them as submitted? Thank you. Seconded. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carried. That takes care of our official business. We've got some items we need to discuss or want to discuss. Some of this will come up in the program manager's report, but I thought we ought to address it separately. We did get an initial response from the from SED in reviewing the plan. We circulated the letter in response to that, so you see the questions that they asked and what the responses were. On behalf of the board, Pepin and others gathered some of the information that's necessary there. Although I must say the burden of this particular letter fell on the district because it was focused largely on schools were closed, what the attendance numbers were and things of that nature. And you'll see the answers they provided there. So where we are now is they got that last week and we'll see what we hear. We've also had a contact from the comptroller's office asking a couple of for some further information, which there's no date for when they're going to conclude. But it's encouraging they're paying some attention to it, you know, and looking at it, which, you know, might not well have done. So that's the next step, I guess, for the following step. Sean, you want to say anything about that? Because you were the guy who, by fault, I guess, wound up superintending the preparation of that letter.
Yeah, having the time out with the transition, we were transitioning superintendents. So, anyways, so we figured it out. Superintendent Peluso actually signed it on his last day. And we got it submitted on June 28th. I'll note that at least Sarah Madison at Facilities Planning was out last week. And probably a lot of people at SAD or this is vacation time, just like it is at the district. So, so we'll see. We'll follow up to make sure that they got it and see if we can get a timing out and might respond to us next.
Those of you who, if you've had a chance to read the letter that was circulated with the material, for those of you who are new to this process, it gives you a sense of the detail to which this thing is regulated, you know, and the detail to which SED gets into, you know, specifics here. And that's going to continue all the way through this project. So there's a burden on us to make sure we can, you know, we attend to that detail, because without it, we're not going to be able to go forward. Okay, there's one item in there that was authorized by the chair. One of the things we'll do when we get going, there's a certain limit below which I can authorize items. And then they are reported every month to you, so you see what they were, and if you had any questions about them. There was really only one, and that was the publishing of the annual report. The annual report we've circulated to all of you. You'll see it's not particularly detailed because of the fact that we're starting up phase 3. But and this was not a year of major activity, but it's it is, I hope somebody someplace is reading it, because it really does give you some pretty good background and shows you what's gone on in the modernization program from the very beginning. So it's worth taking a look at. It gets circulated to hundreds of people, literally, who might be involved in it. Okay, Pepin.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This month's financial summary, if you could go to that first, Siobhan, please. It shows the initial budget allocation for each of the 6 projects and the incidental planning expenditures spread across each of the projects. The amounts listed are still placeholders, budgets for now, until funds are encumbered and contracts are issued. Obviously, there is no hard construction expenditure yet. However, we are showing a total incidental expenditure of 2 million at the bottom, 585,996 against the 475 million authorized limit. And that expenditure amount is still being reconciled with the district's finance department, because Kim told me there are some cost coding that needs to be reconciled with Chris Coleman and Mr. Mahaney, Mr. Sean Farr's office. And this summary also is showing the program being just above 0.5% completed, 0.54%, with 99.46% of the work to be completed very shortly by June 30th, 2031. So that's pretty much the summary. As the chairman mentioned last month, once we start building stuff, you'll see a bigger report with more details in that summary. The next item in our report is the project labor agreement. Similar to prior phases, the phase 3 statutes give the board the option to enter into a project labor agreement after conducting a PLA benefit analysis. So therefore, we are exploring negotiations with the Rochester Building Trades and Construction Council. As we await comments, we'll work with Anshin and BSK on recommendations for the PLA following the benefit analysis that was done by Sealer Engineering. Now, if a PL is adopted, there could be inherent savings in the construction management fees for managing a single prime versus the typical 4 prime WICS law, which Terry and I have been working on to kind of come up with a solid recommendation. But from my understanding, Terry, the final decision needs to be made by when April of 25.
And that's really a drop dead date. That's the date that the architects for the first 2 projects will start the construction phase design to put that package together to go into SED. And the package needs to be laid out with the number of primes that are going to be bid, because the final package that SED looks at to approve, they look at actual bidding documents, what they're going to look like, how many different contracts, what the scope of each contract is, besides the actual design of the work. So that's the date I picked out of the schedule, but that really is a drop dead date. Anything earlier becomes more efficient for the designers.
There are 2 elements of the project labor agreements that have less monetary impact, at least monetary impact that you can easily calculate. One of them is that one of the agreements that would be part of it was there wouldn't be a strike. So we would be protected from a strike. We're vulnerable to that because when we move these kids out into swing space, get the work done and get them back, if you have a delay that's significant during that period of time, it messes up the whole process. Plus, it's not good for the educational process itself to prolong that in some fashion. So taking away that possibility and the leverage of it is important. The other thing is that realistically speaking, it's going to be hard to meet the MBE goals that we have for this project if we don't have cooperation from the unions. And it's not just that it's from my own point of view, it's not just that it's cooperation from the unions. I think we accomplish more here with respect to that program if we get people into the unions, because then we can offer them, or they can be offered a career as opposed to a job for the length of the project that we're dealing with. They get in the cycle, they get in the process, and it really makes a difference. So the fact that we can use this process, PLO process, to make sure that happens and get some agreement from them. Because those of you who've been at this kind of business for a long time, remember how it used to be all the time. The answer was, well, I'm a union contractor, it's a union contract, and they won't send anybody over here, that's it, can't help you. So we got to get over that, in order to be serious about this. And that's not a new issue. I mean, I don't want to point that out as necessarily negative to the people who were involved in the unions today, but it's got some historical connotation. Okay, Pepin?
Yes, and also, Mr. Chairman, there's this apprenticeship requirement in the statute that's
Right.
connected to the hip with.
The same thing.
Yeah, with PLA. Okay, as far as the next item on our report, the strategic and financial plan, the chairman already gave a summary of where we are. I just don't want to spend time repeating that already. But there was some movement by the Office of the State Controller last week, last Wednesday, I think, in the afternoon, Sean, they sent a request for additional information. So Kim Mitchell and our team worked on that right away, and we sent back the other volumes they requested. Kim's email was acknowledged by the Office of the State Controller, and they said they would reach out when and if additional information is needed during the course of their review. So there is some movement. As Chairman Richards mentioned earlier, when Kim, the chairman, and I worked on the operating budget with the finance chair, we kind of reduced the expenditures. But now that we see there's some movement, so those numbers will definitely change because we're gonna have to get to work, add staff when we need to, and get the work moving. As far as specialty consultants, we still need to retain a commissioning agent, the construction managers, the energy consultant. I've held back. Actually, I've been holding both Rowley and Ontario on issuing the CMRFP because we know NYSCD wants to have a say in when we do certain things. So once the board says we can do that, we'll release the RFP for construction management services, and also decision with the PLA. Once we know there's a PLA or not, we'll know how to structure that RFP for CM services. But companies are already calling, asking for information. The Chase, Pikes, Manning Squires of the world, they all made calls this morning asking when the RFP is coming out. And I told them, stay tuned. No, after we meet. As far as the next bullet, the RCSD Facilities Department, about 2 months ago, made an urgent request to engage the services of a structural engineer to continue monitoring of the pre-stressed tendon structural slab at Edison Tech that's showing signs of failure. If okay by the board, we will be considering the facilities department's request to retain that consultant or put an RFP out and move up the Edison schedule as quickly as possible. It seems the saying, Eric, think this is something that cannot wait any longer. Mr. Scott reached out to me and we're working the details and we'll very quickly.
But for the board's memory, this is work we were going to attend to anyway, right?
Correct.
Part of the scope for Edison was addressing this structural problem. So what we're talking about here largely is a timing issue.
Yes. Yes,
because
sir.
apparently it's showing some signs of deterioration. It has shown in the past some signs of deterioration. It's gotten worse.
It's gotten worse. Yes. So we will work on that and come back to you with our recommendation. If this cannot wait until the next board meeting, we'll definitely mention it to the board chair and vice chair, and we'll make a decision at that point.
Edison Tech and all the garages in town. Garages were all done the same way. Well, you know, right, Rick?
Yeah.
So it's You know, the garages have moved into perpetual maintenance.
Oh, yeah. Those tendons are a problem. Architect selections, well, the decision was tabled last month, so I presume it's still status quo until we hear from
That's right.
SCD. Okay. I know the answer, but I figured I'd try anyway.
I know you're trying. Mhm. I heard that, by the way, I heard that thing you slipped in about the budget change. The fact that I didn't say anything didn't mean I didn't get it.
Yes, sir. Franklin, the RFP is out on the streets. We are waiting. We issued about two addendums, two addenda.
We issued two addenda. We did a second walkthrough that we had issued in the second addendum. We did last week. Calling for Zoom this Thursday, the 11th. We had originally scheduled the week of the 29th to do interviews, but we allowed ourselves quite a bit of time before needing to make a recommendation to the board because we had anticipated awarding that contract at the September board meeting. So we could actually take our time, depending on the number of firms we select to interview, that the interviews could bleed into the following week and not affect our schedule. So we have we allowed more time than we had allowed in the first two projects.
Well, this is a big project. This is a big project, so we got to really make sure we get this decision right. Because it's gonna be a capacity of the people we select as well as their quality. Because it's a really big project.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of interest. About 10 firms showed up at the walkthrough.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had 10 prime firms walk through, 3 sub-consultants. One of the prime firms sent their sub-consultant to take a look at the job before they decided, and I've since gotten correspondence that they are going to propose. So theoretically, if everybody that walked the job proposed along with that one, we'll have 11 proposals.
ooh,
Seems as though a lot of the firms were waiting for this one to come out.
Oh,
yeah,
They were waiting.
yeah.
It's big. Oh, although the proposals were due July 11th, they are asking for more time.
Only the firm that asked for the walkthrough and did the walkthrough, the additional walkthrough, is the one asking for more time.
Right.
So
Okay,
we're answering that, no, they don't
Okay.
have extra.
got it. Okay, the next agenda item is the master schedule. We said we would review that schedule on a regular basis to remind ourselves of the critical milestones and the importance of the schedule. Terry, are you prepared to?
Yeah, we did an update on the 24th, is what we had used for the comments for this paragraph. There was a few assumptions we made in the update, for instance, the response to SED's questions and an anticipated approval. That will need to be updated because we responded a few, on a Friday, we assumed it was going to be a Monday. We didn't know about vacation of the person receiving the letter. So we're probably going to be 2 weeks later than what we had anticipated for an approval. Some of the dates that we're showing in the schedule are already going to move.
Mhm.
But, we didn't want to allow so much time. We wanted to allow what we think it was going to take and then just keep tabs on it with the repercussions.
Yeah, we want to try there's a certain amount of float in the total project. And we don't want to give any more of that away up front here than necessary. Because we get towards the end and, there's no flexibility left.
The annual report, the chairman discussed that already. You have your copies. If you need additional copies, I guess a request can be made, we'll accommodate it. The cooperative agreement was executed by the district and the RJSCB still needs to execute
It's on the agenda, isn't it, Kim?
Yeah, that'll be, it's going in August.
So, anything else, Roland, Coleman, or Terrigal County that I missed that the board needs to be aware of for this meeting?
I don't believe so.
I think we covered it.
That's okay. Can I introduce my? stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, we also have Mr. Pinnock from Savin. He's working out of the Pleasantville office with me. He's a civil engineer. He will join the team, I think sometime in September, October here full time. So why don't you introduce yourself, Brian?
Pleasant good afternoon. My name is Brian Pinnock. I'm, as Mr. Peckley would have identified, I'm currently working out of the Pleasantville office. I'm getting up to speed with all the necessary information that the project has developed so far. In terms of my background, I'm a civil engineer by profession. Been in the industry for 20 years. Worked throughout US, South America, Middle East, Caribbean. I'm originally from the Caribbean. My background as a civil engineer is more into project management. I'm hoping that with my experience, I've worked on multi-billion-dollar projects and to be able to pull from those years of experience to provide some level of value to bring this project in successfully. Right, so you are welcome me and I'll be part of this new family.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Okay. This concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Other item. Seeing or hearing none, I propose that we conclude the regular board meeting with a round of applause for Sean.
Yes.
And with that, we'll stand adjourned.
Thank you.
What's the duration?